Good afternoon, 4 o'clock on your Friday, and we are following some breaking news. You can see the smoke. That's Clear Creek County. People now being evacuated for a wildfire. That's between Lawson and Empire, just north of I-70. Again, the live picture from the CDOT camera giving you the view, the smoke coming out. A crew is heading that way. We'll have an update from them to get you more information as soon as it comes in. We also have video that Lindsay sent us from the highway. Traffic was still moving, but slowly. People spotting that smoke billowing out. The Clear Creek County Sheriff's Office says there are 96 mobile homes that are being evacuated. They're calling this the Western Inn fire. Again, we'll be getting more from our crew getting to the scene. As soon as we have it, we'll share it with you right here on 4 o'clock at 9 News.
Always a scary sight in Colorado after a hot summer. They've taken a live look outside as our weather impact team is tracking some storms as well. We're looking forward to a nice cooler weekend ahead. We'll take that. Kathy's going to have our weather impact forecast in just a few minutes.
And then there's this also happening at 4 o'clock. It's the blue screens of death that many people woke up to across the country. Yet today we continue to follow the global IT outage that came through Microsoft and CrowdStrike. Overnight, the cybersecurity company CrowdStrike launched an update, but it had a software bug in it that caused an issue with all of Microsoft's operating system.
Anyone with a computer is impacted. Later this hour, our cybersecurity expert will join us to explain what is CrowdStrike and how this meltdown all happened. We're going to begin, though, with our coverage of Steve on Your Side. He's looking at the many consumer impacts across Colorado. He joins us live from DIA, one of the places having a not-so-great day because of the problem. And, Steve, you talked to many people just trying to sort out this mess.
Yeah, Kim, you know, it is a mess, and it's going to take a while to unsnarl the mess caused by that outage. If you look across the way there, you can see the line at the United line, and actually right above you can see one of those recovery signs, one of those blue screens of death right there as people are trying to make their way toward the counter. We've talked to people here all day who've either been delayed or canceled because of all of this. Some of them have been waiting for the better part of 24 hours. The U.S. Department of Transportation told me this afternoon that they consider these delays and cancellations to be, quote, controllable. That means people stranded here have rights depending on which airline they flew. Recovery. It's written all over the screens at DIA.
I've had so many tears and just frustrations.
Yet this feels like anything but.
We got a luau scheduled for tonight. We're not going to make that.
Bob Smits is waiting to reschedule his connecting flight to Hawaii, celebrating his wedding anniversary.
Yeah, 25 years. It's just like marriage, right? You got the ups and the downs, and travel, you get the same thing.
While he laughs, Tiana Brown paces. Her family has been trying to get to a reunion in Virginia since 9 last night.
Going back and forth, trying to go to reps and agents, and the customer service line was out of control. I have never seen anything. I mean, just you couldn't even see the end of it.
It takes a long time to untangle the complicated web.
Sean Cudahy is an aviation reporter for the website The Points Guy. He says anyone flying this weekend should know their rights as a consumer.
First of all, you're entitled to a refund under U.S. Department of Transportation policy if you ultimately choose not to fly.
For those who are still trying to get somewhere, know this. The U.S. Department of Transportation told Steve on Your Side they consider these delays and cancellations controllable, kicking in certain promises depending on the airline.
Consumers would be entitled to things like compensation for meals, ground transportation, a hotel night unexpected because you're stranded somewhere.
For Bob, who's flying United, that means he could book on a companion airline for no cost and get a voucher for a hotel stay. For Tiana, flying Frontier, with fewer promises, it means a meal voucher. Do they give you a meal or cash voucher?
Nope, no vouchers.
And continued tears and frustrations trying to find help.
Why doesn't Frontier have more agents? They charge us for everything. Why can't they pay for more agents?
Yeah, the more agents, that's $49 more. Bookmark this website for the next big trip that you take, and if you encounter a disaster, it is flightrights.gov. Again, flightrights.gov. There you can go and see the individual customer service plans for all of the different airlines, and you can see what you're entitled to if it's them who causes the delay, if it's the airline that causes the delay. And in this case, again, the U.S. Department of Transportation considers this the airline's fault for causing the delay. Cudahy tells me that they do that because these are software vendors that work for the airlines, so it technically is within their control opening up those rights. It really does depend on which airline you're flying. If you're on Frontier, you could book with Frontier again for free or get a meal voucher, but other airlines have a lot more options for people when it comes to situations like this. We're live at Denver International Airport. Steve Stager, Steve on your side, 9 News.
Steve, we normally see this with snow in Denver, but behind you, seeing that blue screen and seeing all those people lined up and the word recover, it takes a while for an airline, for an airport. Now you have multiple airports, multiple airlines trying to recover. This may take days.
Yeah, you think about usually like with a weather event, it's isolated to a certain part, so you've got to catch up for just that part of the country. In this case, it grounded flights all over the country, so you've got pilots and crews that are in different parts of the country where they really shouldn't be right now. The airlines have to try to move them around, play chess a little bit to get them back in position, to get things back online. It's going to take a while to get people back online. One important thing to note is, unlike a weather event, which is uncontrollable by the airlines, consumers do have rights here.
That's good news. That's good news to know. We all need to know that because winter's coming too. Thanks, Steve.
Yeah.
We are getting a better view of just how many flights were impacted. Check this out. It's a time lapse from Flight Radar 24. You can see it start with kind of normal traffic, and then just after 10 last night, a noticeable dip in volume of planes in the sky, all because of that outage.
And then how did it play here? Well, RTD also impacted by the outage with no D-line service. There was instead a shuttle bus running. Earlier this morning, other rail lines impacted by the outage, running with significant delays. Just in the last 10 minutes, RTD says that operations for them are now back to normal. We will continue to follow this. It's a global internet outage. It's having impact around the world and right here. We'll bring you updates on air and online, and you can stay, of course, up to date by downloading the 9 News app.
Let's take another live look outside. We climbed up into the 80s today, but our weather impact team is tracking a nice, cool weekend ahead. And Kathy, we hope if it storms, it's just like the gentle ones.
And that's the way it's looking, Kim.
Okay.
How great is that? On Sunday, we could have temperatures in the 70s and rain, just rain. But today, it was another warm summer day. We just ticked up to 91. And so with the cloud cover out there, there's certainly the potential for some thunderstorms. Most of the heavier thunderstorm activity has been off to the east of us today. We are tracking a severe threat over extreme eastern Colorado, right along the Nebraska and also Kansas border. We're seeing some storms that might have hail. Currently down to 88 from a high of 91, 94 in Lamar, currently 96 in Grand Junction, 70 in Eagle, 78 in Steamboat. Winds increasing out of the north and northeast, and the heaviest storms have been in and around the Burlington area, where we find one severe thunderstorm warning. These storms are tracking from the northwest toward the southeast. Rain, wind, and lightning. Thankfully, no hail reported yet. This cell is headed for Kit Carson and Cheyenne Wells. The biggest threat with this storm here is the lightning and damaging wind potential. Severe until 4:15. Upstream, just up to the north and west of Denver, there's a little more moisture we're watching. Maybe we'll see a brief shower here in the city, but this is really the bullseye area just east of Colorado in Nebraska and Kansas for storms with rotation and large hail. Enjoy a comfortable next few hours with temperatures in the 70s and 80s, and you're going to love the weekend forecast. I'll have details on that and the impact of what we're expecting in terms of that change for the weekend, what it means for your outdoor plans coming up.
Next week, we'll hear from the director of the Secret Service about the attempted assassination of former President Donald Trump. Kimberly Cheadle is set to testify before Congress on Monday. She was subpoenaed this week by the House Oversight Committee. The Secret Service said today that it is fully accountable for the safety of the people it protects and is committed to understanding what happened before, during, and after the shooting. House Speaker Mike Johnson and other top Republicans have called on Cheadle to resign. Cheadle has said she will not. President Joe Biden is still recovering from COVID, and today doctors say his health is improving.
NBC says they have sources that are saying Biden is recovering with his family, but they're also discussing the possibility of a plan to exit the race. Here's NBC's Drew Wilder.
Many countries from all over.
Two campaign trails on very different paths. The day after Donald Trump accepted the Republican Party's nomination, NBC reports President Joe Biden's family is discussing a possible exit plan. His campaign chairman today, though, said Biden is staying in the race.
We know that we've slipped a bit from the debate, and we know that the president has to prove to the American people exactly what he believes, that he's in this to win this, he can do this.
But some Democrats don't believe Biden is able to do that.
The president is not capable of delivering the message in an effective way. And I don't see how anyone could debate that. There have been countless examples even.
Representative Adam Smith was the first Democrat to publicly call for Biden to bow out of the race, and he's gaining company as more Democrats are joining the call for the president to end his campaign, exposing a rift in the Democratic Party. At the same time, the Republican National Convention sold a message of unity as Donald Trump closed out this week's convention in Milwaukee.
In an age when our politics too often divide us, now is the time to remember that we are all fellow citizens.
Within minutes of the longest convention speech in history, Trump veered away from his uniting message and attacked the Biden administration and claimed immigrants are stealing American jobs.
Today, our cities are flooded with illegal aliens. Americans are being squeezed out of the labor force and their jobs are taken.
Trump leaves the convention and returns to the campaign trail this weekend. President Biden is still recovering from COVID, but his campaign expects him back on the trail next week. In Washington, for Wild, NBC News.
Coming up at the bottom of the hour at about 4:30, our Marshall Zellinger is going to join us and take a look at the DNC's flow chart, showing what would happen to the Biden delegates should he in fact drop out of the race. Turn to Boulder now, which may very well be the next stop for the Sundance Film Festival.
And today we learned the city made the final 6 cities on the list to host the festival starting in 2027. Members of the Sundance Selection Committee will visit each of the finalist cities in the coming weeks. Sundance has been held in Utah since it started in 1978. Last year's festival brought in more than $118 million to Utah's economy and more than 21,000 out-of-state visitors. Other cities on that list include Atlanta, Cincinnati, Louisville, Kentucky, Santa Fe, and Park City, Utah. But look at this. This is why they need to come to Boulder.
That's the reason there.
I mean, it's pretty enticing.
It's pretty good.
I mean,
No, and Boulder has had a good film festival. There's a lot of reasons why they certainly could come. It would certainly seem like an excellent new place for Sundance.
Why not?
As far as I know.
I mean, think about it.
That's a limited pile right there, what I know.
Yeah, what you know. Well, it's like for me too. But
Tiny
6
little,
cities,
like
I mean, I
Swedish
like our
meatball
odds.
of knowledge.
I like our odds, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Final 6.
Yeah, no, I like you liking their odds. I don't know anything about it.